Hi, Victory Nation. Welcome to Inside My Victory, a podcast about the church, leadership, and creativity. I'm Pastor Gene.
And I'm Pastor Kelly. And you can follow along with the podcast and the notes we provided for you on my website, kellystickle.com.
And if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, any subject matter you'd like us to discuss, please email us at leadership@myvictory.ca.
Yeah, I'd really encourage every pastor, every leader to take advantage of this. If you have a question that would help in your specific situation, feel free to ask us again at leadership@myvictory.ca. We would love to take it on.
Yes, we would. And please ask really hard questions, all right?
We love that, yeah.
Hey, we're halfway through July.
Yeah, and we've got a 40th anniversary coming up here to celebrate 40 years of this church.
That's incredible.
With our Victory family coming from all over the world, so we're excited to host them all.
It's awesome.
It's going to be a great time.
It is. Well, today we're continuing the series that you've entitled The Church I See.
The church I see.
The church
or
you see.
That you see.
That you see.
That I see? Okay.
I see. I see,
right.
you see. So today we're going to dig into the more or less combination of things. And today, I love this one, more revolution and less evolution.
Yeah.
Sounds radical.
Yes.
So go for it.
Yeah, and I hope it is radical. I the word radical, actually, I preached a sermon, I think one of the first Sundays that I was here, called radical. And the word radical in the dictionary literally means, it's on a cutting edge of change, but also means to originate from the root. And that's very, very applicable very, very applicable.
Say that again. That's really key.
Yeah, radical means to be on the radical edge of change, but it also means to originate from the root. And the two of those things together, I think, are really, really powerful, especially when it comes to the church, because the early church was a revolutionary church. It led society. It changed society. It changed history. It changed cultures. It changed Rome from being this conquering, a giant that was, a nasty empire, to where now the most churches in the world are in the epicenter of Rome, which is quite amazing. So that's a revolutionary change. So we want to go back, and my push was, hey, we need more of that pioneering, that revolutionary, that cutting edge, because the church has, as long as I've been alive and been a part of it, the church likes to play second. We like to play catch up. We, when society does something, we will follow.
Mimic it.
Yeah, we'll mimic it. We'll follow it. And we like to play second. We like to play second to each other. When a church, we don't like to be the first ones to try something or do a different method or something. We'll wait for somebody else to boldly go out there and try it, and
then we'll be cool.
Then we'll be cool, and then we'll try.
Not knowing that's already passed.
And I think that's not the way God is. God, we serve the most creative being in the universe. Spoke and created all the world around us, and we need to tap into that creativity, that pioneering, that revolutionary attitude.
How does a pastor really get that into the heart of their church? Where it's really in the fabric of the church to think that way.
Well, I think you've got to lead it.
That's a question you weren't prepared for.
Yeah, I think you got to lead it. As a pastor, you got to be able to step out and do things and be bold and not
model it, basically.
I think a lot of times we make decisions on, this is going to upset some people, or this is not going to be accepted very well, and I don't know if we should really do this. And I think we need to step out sometimes and take some risks and not fear failure. Just give it a go.
That is so key.
So I think a prime example in the business world of revolution versus evolution, dare I say, is the change that's happened in Apple. As a company in the last little while, Apple, when it started off as revolutionary. Then it went through a period where it kind of went to evolution, where it was lagging behind and kind of following
all over the place.
And then Steve Jobs, after he came back from the second time, went into that revolutionary mode again, where he brought in things like the iPhone and iPads and different technologies that were not out there, were the first cutting edge on the brink of things. And then since he's passed away, it seems like they're again playing second. That the new updates are stuff that other companies have been doing for a little while, and they seem to go. They went from being first to now being second. Yeah, catching up.
And I think one of the things that Jobs did when he came back was he simplified things.
Yes.
And I think when the church drifts or when it becomes more evolutionary, then it seems to add too much, and we lose the simplicity of the purpose of what we're about.
Yes, and he took crazy risks, right? He simplified. He was determined to make it user friendly and to simplify. He had lots of voices around him or telling him that this is not going to work. People aren't going to like this, and he took crazy risks, and not all of them worked, and he was okay with that. And he would discard a mistake and move on and push it aside and come up with something new. And in the church, I think we need to do the same thing. Take some risks, do something a little bit different, step out and saying, okay, how can we lead and not follow, not observe, but how can we lead? What can we do? And again, I think that revolutionary attitude comes from being solely focused on the mission. Right? What's the best way to reach the lost? What's the best way to go into all the world and preach the gospel? And if there's a better way, man, let's do it. And I love hearing some of these testimonies of churches out there now. There's a church that just imagine this, that has planted in the gaming world. So they've created this kind of church in the gaming world that happens online, where all these people gather together and play games together. There's a church that's planted out of that, and I was like, man, that's different. That's kind of cool. But that's meeting people where they're at. That's being focused on the mission. That's doing something that others aren't doing or haven't really tried to do, and stepping out. And will it work? We don't know. It's too early to tell.
Well,
but it's
challenging all the
idea.
methods. It's challenging the methods that have kind of become stale, that are not effective today. And it's really about that simplifying, and really a leader has to be very decisive to know and to create a culture, I think, within the church, the local church,
right?
That this is how we think. We think what's really working, what's really not working, and we have to move forward. And
we have to move forward, yeah, absolutely. And we can hesitate, and that hesitation is usually based on fear.
Yes.
And society is moving so fast, technology is moving so fast, things are changing so fast that a slight hesitation, it can be too late. And we typically hesitate. I know I do, because I'm afraid, this might not work, or this is gonna bomb, or this is not gonna look good, and you hesitate, and then somebody else comes out and does it, and and then you look back and saying, that was a really good idea. Wish I would have thought of that.
Wish I'd moved on that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that this is really important in bringing forward and keeping in the forefront that we are really on task. We are on point to bring this hope to the world, because the world doesn't have much hope right now.
That's right.
And that's why we do what we do. And we're on that mission. We're literally on that mission. It's not just a cliche bunch of phrases we say at the end of a podcast, but we are on a mission. We have a charge.
We really do. We have to focus on that mission. We have to. That's where the revolution is going to come from. Is being dead set on. We have to reach every available person,
even when they're not predictable.
Even when they're not predictable.
Even with unpredictable ways as well.
Yeah, and we say that, reach every available person by every available time, by every available means, right? And that means
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
With the gospel of Jesus Christ.
By creating churches
that unchurched people
love to attend.